we're going to be talking about patterns and linear functions, and I wanted to start off with a discussion of variables. We're going to be working with x and y. Now, x is what we call the independent variable. And y is what we call the dependent variable. When we're talking about equations and functions, we're going to refer to x as the input, and we're going to refer to y as the output. Okay, so this is three ways of referring to x and y. They're the independent and the dependent, or the input and the output. Because when we're talking about functions and we're talking about equations, we're generally going to be putting values in for x and figuring out what y is equal to. So y is going to be dependent on x. X is what we're going to be plugging into, so therefore x is the input, and what we get out, or the output, is going to be y. You also heard me use the word function. A function is a relationship that pairs each input value with exactly one output value. So for instance, if I had 1, 2, 3, 4 as my input, my output might be 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay? And that would be a function where x is my input and y is my output. And the function would be the rule that relates these two things. So if we look at these two things and we try to figure out what relates them, basically what is being done to x to make y? Well, x is being multiplied by 3 each time, so our function would be y is equal to 3x. And this is a linear function. A linear function is a function whose graph is a line that is not vertical. So it generally looks like, if we have our x-axis and our y-axis, it looks something like this. Right? That's what a linear function is, as opposed to a nonlinear function which might have curves in it. Over here on the left, I've got a table of information of data of x inputs and y outputs, and I'm going to practice graphing those to see if we have a linear function here. So I start off by going to 0 on my x-axis and going up to 5 on my y-axis, and I mark that point. I go to -1 on my x-axis and up to 2 on my y-axis, and I mark that point. -2, -1, -3, -4. And if you notice, in fact, these are making a line, so this is a linear function. And there's our line.